Hey, you're listening to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM and ArrowFM. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey.
Last week that I'm in the UK, so hopefully we'll be back to normal in terms of audio quality after this week. Thanks for sticking by. It's been a little bit rough, but we'll make it. Kind of ironically, while I'm in the UK, we're getting a massive WWE network show in Australia. Kind of annoying. Times didn't line up, so I can't attend it, but it'll be big nonetheless, and we're going to run that down now. WWE Super Showdown. Let's start off with a tag team match. Asuka and Naomi taking on the Iconics. And don't you dare tell me the Iconics are going to lose.
Alright, then I won't say anything.
I don't know, maybe. I'm assuming that we're not going to get the Buddy Murphy win, so maybe they give us the Iconics win.
Hometown curse.
Yeah, but it's an inconsequential match that means absolutely nothing. Asuka and Naomi have had like a couple matches together. There's nothing crazy. I don't know. I'm going to put blind faith behind the Iconics for obvious reasons. And I'm assuming from your lack of comments that you expect Asuka and Naomi.
Yes.
You disappoint me. But we will swiftly move on so you can't prove me wrong. The New Day are defending their SmackDown Tag Team Championships against The Bar.
Yeah. And the New Day retains.
Yeah, pretty much. I would like to see a little bit of a switch up here, but I don't expect it. It was a little surprising to me. Someone actually pointed out how long Cesaro and Sheamus have been together. I think it's 2 years now. So that seemed like just yesterday that they had their best of 7 series and got slammed together as a team. But yeah, I think the New Day are going to continue to reign as the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, and we constantly talk about it, such a stacked division. Honestly, anyone as champion has like 10 pre-made feuds that are all going to be pretty good matches. So if the Bar aren't taking it here, who do you think's going to take it then?
I haven't really put that much thought into it. I just don't think it's the Bar.
Okay. You have no faith in old Cesaro and Sheamus?
No, it's just because we've seen it before.
Fair enough.
We've seen them beat the New Day before, so...
The other SmackDown title, the SmackDown Women's Championship, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. Is Charlotte going to get her title back?
No. I told you already. Evolution
for Charlotte's win. So this one's just a stalling match then. Looking at this card, I don't know how many big things are going to happen. Let's be trying to put it nicely. There's a lot of opportunity for it, but I don't know. The international shows have been hit and miss, so we'll have to wait and see what they're going to pull off for Super Showdown. I'm with you on this, though. I think Becky Lynch is going to retain her title through here, probably through some not so nicely means. I believe the Evolution match, is it booked or just rumored?
I think it's rumored. I don't know. I'm just suspecting it'll happen. And that's where Charlotte will break her tie with Trish Stratus, with Trish Stratus in the building.
The SmackDown Women's title will be defended, but they don't say who. Okay. It makes sense from a history standpoint. But bugger if I know what WWE ever are going to do, so hey. The Cruiserweight Championship, Cedric Alexander versus Buddy Murphy.
Buddy Murphy wins the championship.
I'm happy.
That's why I said the Iconics wouldn't win.
Okay. I'm fine with this. How long has Cedric had this title now?
WrestleMania.
A long time, then.
So yeah, he's gone on 6 months
now. Not as long as Pete Dunne, but could still switch him out for a Buddy Murphy.
See if he's past Neville.
Buddy Murphy's like these matches that these two have had have already twirling the house down for the 6 people that stayed for the tapings for 205 Live. And it was kind of disappointing. It was always on a small stage. So putting them, I guess, here is a good chance for both of them to actually showcase what they've already done, pretty much, just to a bigger audience, and putting it in front of Buddy Murphy's home crowd. It would be kind of disappointing if they didn't swap the title. But you did mention with the Iconics, the hometown curse, so there is the chance that they just aren't going to swap the title here for Buddy.
Yeah, and what I just found out, I think probably means
He hasn't
passed Neville yet. Needs another 20 days.
Okay. Don't make me cry. You're sticking with your prediction, right? Though, Buddy wins. Buddy wins.
Nope. I'm changing to Cedric Alexander wins.
Why did I let you look it up? I should have just moved on. I feel like, does that mean the Iconics can win now?
No.
Oh. Just letting me have nothing. AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, no count out, no DQ, WWE Championship. How's AJ Styles going to return?
Phenomenal forearm.
Just pick a move out of his repertoire with that and you'll win. Yeah, I expect AJ to hold the title here and move on. I think we've talked to Death Owl, Daniel Bryan, Miz, AJ, Rumble plans like 1,000 times over now, so probably not worth recapping them all again, but that would imply that Samoa Joe here is not going to pick up the championship. I wouldn't be mad if he did. It may mess up the plan that we keep outlining, but Samoa Joe is a good talent as well, so wouldn't be too mad. What else do we have? The Bella Twins and Ronda Rousey versus the Riot Squad.
Obviously, Ronda and the Faces will win.
Yeah. I think in terms of the post-match shenanigans, they're going to outweigh whatever happens in this match. And that most people aren't going to remember, who won the match. They're going to remember the blow-up that I assume is still going to happen between Ronda and Bella. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see if that trigger is being pulled. I'm fairly in the camp that it will be. The Shield versus Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, and Drew McIntyre.
One half has the tag team championships, the other half has the 2 singles championships.
Is that a metaphor?
Which is more important in the WWE?
Clearly the tag team titles.
The Shield wins.
I thought you were going with some metaphorical thing where it's like Ziggler and McIntyre are a team, but the Shield are a group of individuals.
No, just the titles.
Okay.
The titles are the individual titles have always been far more important than the tag team titles.
Yeah, I think as well with who's holding them at the moment. Obviously, members of the Shield, but Roman Reigns is the Universal Champion, and Seth Rollins is the Intercontinental Champion, are also 2 highly regarded champions. Obviously, Roman the first champion, and God knows how long. And Seth always runs well with the title, so it's not like there's some random paper in between champions that are also in this match when we're talking about the singles titles as the tag titles. It's 2 rather large champions.
Yeah, we had a part-time champion for about 534 days.
I don't want to know that number, because then I'm going to memorize that number, and it's going to make me depressed.
Well, yeah, Brock had the title for 504 days. Pete Dunne is about to pass that 2 or 3 days.
I think Pete Dunne has defended his title on NXT UK tapings a couple times, but as far as I know, those aren't airing yet. So I don't know when the official tick for some title defenses comes through, but I think it's been a while since he's defended it on television as well. Maybe an NXT takeover, but that might be a couple takeovers. And Daniel Bryan, The Miz, #1 contendership. I know we were saying The Miz a lot, and then we flip-flopped last week to say Daniel Bryan. Are we still with Daniel Bryan?
Well...
You're going to flop again,
if the winner of this match gets the title shot at SmackDown 1000, as is speculated, I'm switching back to The Miz.
Switching back. You did have your earlier theory about The Miz winning a title on every milestone, so... Hey.
Well, that's not a theory, it's a fact.
True, good point.
He has done it at every milestone show over the last 4 or 5 years, beginning with Raw 1000.
Your theory of that continuing towards SmackDown. So we're flopping again. We just can't decide who's going to win this match. I think it comes down to the path after this match, in terms of our end goal and where we're heading, can still be the same regardless of who wins. And since we're still so far out from that end goal, what we do between now and then, it has a little bit of unpredictability and a little bit of shakiness in it. And that's perfectly fine as long as we do make it to that end goal. We don't lose our way along the way. That would be the worst case scenario if everybody just started either losing interest or the booking of it starting to get a little wishy-washy. Bobby Lashley and John Cena teaming up to take on the team of Kevin Owens and Elias, who know just how to draw heat from a crowd.
It's a wonder they weren't melted in place.
To be fair, I don't think they could speak for the rest of the entire promo. Might as well just up and left, but yeah. They did really well. I think that was a combination of a very, very hot crowd and saying just the right things. But yeah, it was good. But they're going up against John Cena.
Yeah, WWE doesn't make a lot of mistakes, but they screwed up the Kevin Owens I quit angle.
Yeah. Has he quit or is he... Yeah. I think we've just entirely dropped it, haven't we?
Yeah, he quit and then was back the next week.
Yeah. I got nothing. Maybe Kevin changed his mind. He didn't formally nullify his contract.
But yeah, I expect Cena and Lashley to win this match.
I think anyone other than John Cena, and I would entertain the fact of Elias and Owens winning. But Bobby Lashley's tag team partner being John Cena is just, you've won. You've won by default. And then the final match on the card, the depressing one, Triple H with Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker with Kane. How are we going to set up the depressing match?
No contest. That's how.
Lock it up. It's done. I'm still so depressed every time we talk about this match or where this match is headed. It was just sad. It's sad. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I can't even get disappointed.
Why is that?
At this point, I simply don't care.
Oh, I do wonder, and I know it's going to get a lot of hype because it's Shawn Michaels' return match after being retired. I do wonder, it won't be outweighed. I wonder if that will be hindered by the fact of a bunch of disappointed people. I feel like, in general, the mainstream isn't going to be disappointed. They're going to be excited that Shawn Michaels is back. So, probably not. This is also, 3 people who should probably be retired by now. We can probably say 4. We can probably say all 4 of them should have ridden off into the sunset a little while ago. So we'll see how this match plays out.
I will say 3 because I think Trips can still go. He just doesn't have to anymore.
Yeah. 3 of them should have had 4 more ride off into the sunset moments. And then Triple H could just have a fade away. But alas, all 4 of them are going to be having a match within the next month or so. And single tears everywhere. Alright, so we're going to go into playing our theme song this week, but a little bit different after the theme song. So the song is going to be Pete Dunne's Bruce. After the song, Josh isn't going to be here, so we're going to say goodbye to Josh now. in fact. He's being really nice and giving me the rest of the show to talk about the Progress Hello Wembley show that I attended this week. So, thank you. Let's hope Super Showdown's going to go well. And we'll go into that song when we come back. Progress Hello Wembley and a rundown of that. And you're back with Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM. Just Grady here. Josh has gone away, so Grady can talk about his Progress show. It was the first show for Progress that I'd attended. I didn't have a whole lot of background heading into it in terms of feuds. I knew who most of the people were, just from a cursory knowledge of British pro wrestling. They ended up pulling 4,750 people, which I think was a Progress record when they announced it. But it was a really good crowd compared to WWE crowds that'll be a million times bigger than that. The Progress crowd was really always hot, always into it, cared about every single match, cared about every single wrestler. Pretty much just a sense of what you'd get at your local indie, just times by 10 in terms of crowd size. But I'm going to run out of time if I don't talking about the matches. So obviously this is going to be spoilers. I don't believe the chapter show yet has appeared on Progress On Demand, so if you don't want to hear about spoilers, jump out now. The parachutes are located over there, because we're going to be talking about match winners and everything. So they opened up with a pre-show battle royal as a way to thank all of the Brit Pro guys who weren't able to be on the show in terms of feuds and matches. Chuck Mambo ending up picking up the win, but the final four included New Zealand's own TK Cooper. Bit of a cool moment there for me personally. The Battle Royal was a better laid out one than you'd normally see. Everything seemed to flow really nicely. There weren't too many moments of downtime. All of the eliminations mattered. There wasn't really any that was just happened when no one was watching. Everyone, it was similar to the Rumble in a way where every elimination also now has a preset feud behind it that could happen, because they were all very storyline-y, grandiose type eliminations where you can build off that and continue forward if you needed to. The final two being Chuck Mambo and Spike Trepay. And that pretty much just turned into a one-on-one match where the goal was to throw people over the top rope. So it was pretty neat. Quite enjoyed it as a bit of a warm-up, what WWE's pre-shows are meant to be. And then the first match on the card proper, Mark Haskins versus Matt Riddle, in Matt Riddle's final ever independent show before in the NXT. It was quite a good little match. I hadn't seen a whole lot of Matt Riddle, so I'm going to take this as a good primer for me before seeing him in NXT. He wrestles very much an MMA style, as you would expect, but he's very, very fun with what he does as well. I'm looking forward to seeing how well he transitions to NXT and how much of the character he takes with him. Because he's, for a smash 'em up guy, he's very character driven as well, from what I saw. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm going to imagine a fair amount goes with him. That seems to be the thing that's happening for the most part nowadays. It's a developed character when change up medical things. The Progress Women's Championship match, Ginny successfully defending against Millie McKenzie, Toni Storm. There were quite a few crowd chants of anyone but Ginny. I didn't fully understand the finish, obviously not being 100% into the storyline and feud here. There were some twists and some turns and some heels and faces switching, and then Ginny ditching her stable. Ultimately, Ginny came out the victor. I liked the little storyline where Ginny just sort of ignored Millie McKenzie and attacked Toni Storm. It just sort of, you're not a threat to me, and then she ended up being a threat later on in the match. It was cool. I liked everything about this match. It wasn't the best match of the night. It's got quite a few tough ones to go up against it. But Yeah, it was a neat little match. I would have liked a different outcome. But post-match, US independent wrestler Jordan Grace popped up and chased out Jenny in their little stable, so I'm going to assume that that's going to be going forward. And definitely be a fresh matchup, possibly even take the title, and we'll see what the Progress Women's Division does. Now, the Atlas Championship match, Doug Williams held the title going into it, legend in the British pro wrestling scene, lost it to British Strong Styles Trent 7. A really good match. It was a bit more of a classic British wrestling match, very technical, but still had its high spots here and there. Doug Williams can still go pretty damn well, but he won't be anymore because the stipulation was that if Doug Williams lost, he would retire. Very emotional moment to have middle of the show. Obviously, all the British people around me reacting a lot more than me. All the roster came out as well, shook hands with him, hugged him. I'm sure there was more of that all backstage that we didn't get to see, but yeah, but a bit emotional seeing the end of Doug Williams' career. Next up would be the first ever death match that I've seen live. Boy howdy, was it a barn burner. Jimmy Havoc versus Paul Robinson. The hype packages that Progress do were perfect in terms of summarizing the feuds for me. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that happened in this match that I couldn't take photos. I have stopped taking photos in this match. Whether it's staple gunning his shirt to his chest, the light tubes, goddamn the tubes. It was just a totally utter and brutal match between the two of them. Havoc obviously coming out with the win. I believe it was a curb stomp through some light tubes that were being held up by some chairs was the finish of the match. Looked painful. Everything in this match looked painful. We had to change the canvas so that we wouldn't get blood all over the nice canvas, and we ended up putting holes in it later in the night anyway, so it didn't really... But this was the match just before intermission, which made sense since we had to clean up. It was quite a long clean-up. I think intermission went a little bit longer than expected, which caused the show to overrun the end as well. But all in all, it was a pretty good match. I still don't love death matches. Not a huge fan. Then we have the tag team title match. The match concept I wasn't too 100% familiar with. It was I don't know if I'm allowed to say this word on radio, Thunder something match. Bandito and Flamingo. I'd seen a couple of their matches heading into this, so I knew that they could go. They were defending their titles against a bunch of teams that would come in at intervals and just sort of join the fray. Tornado tag rules, pin someone to eliminate the team. Quite a few cool spots. I like this match. Everybody got their spots and everybody got a showcase. By the end of it, I knew exactly the personality. I was quite happy with this match, and I got to be happy with the ending as well because Aussie Open, the Aussie boys, they were with the titles. Even though I think it's been confirmed that it was just a stinger. Onto the triple main event. I'm having to speed up now because we're hitting time. Pete Dunne, Ilya Dragunov, match of the night. Find a link, watch this, go to Progress on Demand, sign up. You need to see this match. It was the best match I've seen live. I'm going to say full stop. I'm probably going to be wrong in that, but I'm going to say full stop. There was also a TLC match, Eddie Dennis, Mark Andrews. If Progress have put up the promo package for this online, again, watch that promo package. The match wasn't as good, but the package was definitely great. I had a couple problems with tables not breaking. I'm sure we'll see that on Botchamania soon. But it was your bog standard TLC match, but the feud leading into it, the crossovers into like Mark Andrews' band and everything else was great. So I'd suggest watching that hype package and maybe a highlight of the match. Then finally the main event, Progress World Championship, Walter versus Tyler Bate, the big strong boy. Walter ends up picking the win, but the match just felt so grand. I think someone said that it was like half an hour long or something like that, but it didn't feel like half an hour long you were watching it. Everyone was always on their feet, from the entrances to the finish. It was good. And Progress have confirmed that because of the overrun that this match will be available for free on demand, so check that out even if you're not a Progress on Demand subscriber. Not as good as the Pete Dunne Ilya Dragunov match to me, but it was still a damn good match. Second best of the night. And if all you've seen is Tyler Bate in the NXT UK, WWE UK stuff, then this might be a bit of a culture shock to see him against someone like Walter, who's a big Austrian, and it really works out. I liked the clash of styles here, and I'm a big Walter. Alright, well that's all we got time for. We've rushed through a lot of content to fit into today. Hopefully you've enjoyed listening to it all. You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/WrestlingHeartRadio, or twitter.com/WrestlingHeartRadio. And we'll see you next week with better audio quality back in New Zealand and the Super Showdown results.
From the look on their face, it's like the prize right in front of my eyes. Taking the sky's the limit, got no time to